Namaskaram, Namaste, welcome to Thiruvananthapuram. Welcome to the Vizhinjam Conclave 2025. On behalf of the Government of Kerala and our counterparts in all the allied industries, along with the people of Kerala that has helped us make this dream come true, we warmly welcome you to this Vizhinjam Conclave. Today, we have an august gathering here, and we are here to tell you the story of Vizhinjam. Vizhinjam International Seaport, as we see it today, and I'm sure many of you would be going to visit our port within a short while, has been, in the literal sense, a dream come true. I always keep telling people that this is a story of centuries. 10 years ago, the place where we proudly present the Vizhinjam International Seaport was a sea. 100 years ago, it was a dream of the Travancore princely state. If we go through the archives of the Kerala state government, we can see that the then Travancore kingdom, the princely state, when Sir C.P. Ramaswamy Iyer and his team was here, they had actually carved out a plan and a design for building and for harnessing the potential of the Vizhinjam Harbour. If we go down 1,000 years back in history, we see that this place was actually called Rajendra Chola Pattanam. And that was there for a reason, because this was one of the most prized points where the Cholas and the Cheras would fight their battle to win for. And even prior to that, when you look at the I kingdoms, the Pandyas, and even the Sangam literature talks about the great potential of the Vizhinjam Harbour, obviously due to its strategic location and its geopolitical significance, and nature's endowment on the Vizhinjam Port, on the Vizhinjam Harbour in terms of the draft and its littoral drift. So it has taken us so many years to figure out that this dream can actually be built in brick and mortar. And here we are at the end of our realization and bringing it to complete potential and gifting it to the world. So, transforming India's maritime future is the title we have chosen for this, because this is not simply the port of Vizhinjam, this is not simply the port of Trivandrum, this is not simply the port of Kerala, but this is India's face of development as we see it today. India's first deep water container transshipment terminal is Vizhinjam International Seaport. We in India, home to 18% of the world's population, handle only 1% of the global cargo. And more importantly, when it comes to transshipment, around 75% of our cargo volume actually goes out of the country in order to be transshipped, for the very fact that we do not have a dedicated transshipment port in the country. And this gap has been very strategically and very structurally determined in order to revive this revenue that goes out of the country by means of bringing in the transshipment port into our country. And that is where the future of maritime sector of India comes to Vizhinjam. When we look at the gateway to global dominance, we have the India's vision for 2050 as a superpower contributing 25% of the combined GDP of 9 developed nations and various growth sectors which drive the country forward. And as we know historically, every single conquest, every single entrance of flourishment has taken place through the sea. And it is no different in today's age and era. After the age of containerization, of rapid containerization has actually transformed the maritime sector across the globe, it is important that we ensure that the maritime sector's potential and competitiveness of the country is at par with every other in order to establish the global dominance and the global future that we envision for India. Apart from Vizhinjam, we also have the Kollam Port, Arikal Port, and the Beypore Port, which are in the maritime map of Kerala for ensuring seamless connectivity and also for providing allied services to every single ship for every single line that actually comes to Kerala. All these various ports are under various stages of development right now. More about it will be talked about in the session conducted by the Kerala Maritime Board. So, as we can see, I'm sorry, I think this automatically moving ahead. So, yeah. Kerala, as we know, is very popularly and very famously and lovingly called God's own country. And being God's own country does not only mean that we have God's blessings in terms of all the natural draft and the strategic location, as I mentioned, of the Vizhinjam Port, but it also means that we take on the attributes of gifting blessings to our neighbors as well. And that is why today, as we stand at the Vizhinjam Conclave 2025, we propose that this port is not only Kerala's port, but it also adds up to bringing the southern part of the country as one of the major hubs in business, commerce, and maritime trade. When we look at the other states in the southern part of the country, we realize that the 3 South Indian states actually target a 1 trillion economy by 2025. The combined efforts of Karnataka, of Tamil Nadu, of Andhra Pradesh, and of Kerala would actually make this true. And working hand in hand with our neighboring states is definitely going to benefit the entire country, nonetheless the state of Kerala itself. And the key objectives when we look at the maritime development in Kerala, we have looked at integrated transport system plus coordinated development and port-based industries. Now let me explain it a bit for you. As I mentioned in the beginning, the port of Vizhinjam is not only the port for cargo, it's not only the port for motherships, it is not only India's largest transshipment deepwater container terminal, it is not only India's first automatized and semi-automatized port, but this is also the people's port. And why do we say so? Because this developmental saga carries along with it the people of the region of Kerala. And when we look at the Kerala model of development, we realize that we have always given a lot of importance to the softer side of developmental factors as well. We have always been far ahead of other states when it comes to education, when it comes to health, when it comes to human development indices. And now we are up and about in infrastructure as well and transforming the business climate of Kerala. And that is the reason why this is the people's sport, because we have focused not only on infrastructure, but we have focused on improving the quality of lives of people in and around Vizhinjam Port. In order to actually develop this port, we have not displaced a single person, a single habitat, a single family from the region. And not just that, a compensation which is sound has also been given and still in the process of being given to people who would, in the future, might face any brickbats from this development. And special emphasis has been given for skilling program for all the youth in the region in Vizhinjam as well. So this, as I say, is the people's dream of Kerala, which has come true here. And that is the reason why in the maritime development policy, we have focused on people's development in the region, connectivity, which is the integrated transport system that would come in place with the rail as well as road connectivity, and port-based industries, which is a thrust of the conclave today. So let me not reveal the entire suspense of the conference as such in just one presentation, but port-based industries, as you know, is definitely the driving factor of any port in any state in the country. And when we talk about port-based industries, it is also important that we look at the benefits and the endowments that Kerala has already in the given sector. Going with the God's own country and the theme of Kerala's development, which is environmental friendly and eco-friendly and green development, that is something we are really looking forward to when it comes to port-based development. And the conclave also entails private sector participation and public sector participation, as we can see here today. And we honestly expect a lot more inputs from each one of you here in order to make our ambitious project real. Some of the benefits of why you should be investing here is what the rest of the few slides actually portray, which says why Vizhinjam stands out. As I mentioned, we have the strategic location, which is situated at the southern tip of India, just 10 nautical miles from the international shipping route, and proximity to major shipping lanes, which reduces transit time, where time is money in case of global shipping companies. And that is the reason we have shipping lines queue up for coming here to us. And the natural advantages of the coast, as you can see, also offers natural protection against the rough seas, which makes it a very happy and very easy berthing process. And the minimal littoral drift also ensures that we require minimal dredging year after year, and also the largest and the deepest of the vessels can come in and berth here safely and easily. And we have already seen that in the previous few months. So we started off with the first vessel in July 2024, following which we've had around 140 vessels come in here to us. And we've had the largest vessel, largest mothership that Indian ports have ever seen come in and berth here. We've had 2 or 3 ships simultaneously coming in and berthing here. And all of which has happened much to the satisfaction of our clients, of our customers, as we call them. And some of the heart-touching experiences that we have had in this process, which I'm privileged to share here, is that when we talk to the crew, when we talk to the captains of the shipping lanes, the first response that we generally get is that, how beautiful a place. And that, I think, is, as I said, reflective of God's own country here. But what comes next is also equally gratifying to us, that when they leave the port, they're extremely happy about the services that they have received from us, which is a reflection of the hard work and the dedication put in by the team in and around VISL, Government of Kerala, and ABPPL, the prime operators of the port as well. Cost competitiveness and operational edge, as I mentioned, is definitely another reason what makes Vizhinjam what it is today. We offer cost advantages. As I mentioned, because of the minimal littoral drift, we have low operating expenses and maintenance dredging, which gives us a competitive edge. And it is also a fully automated terminal, which can provide dedicated berths for shipping lines as well. Currently, we have a berth which can safely accommodate at least 2 motherships. And as we move on to the capacity augmentation in the coming months, which we hope to start in a month or two, so after the capacity augmentation is completed by 2028, we would have 4 to 5 motherships that could actually come and berth in smoothly and safely at the Vizhinjam Port. As I mentioned, we also have India's first automated and semi-automated terminal, which means that all our cranes, both our ship-to-shore cranes and our yard cranes, are automated or semi-automated, making sure that this is a safe and hazard-free workplace as well, which means that human interference at the actual place of operation would be reduced to minimal. And we hope to bring in automated trailers as well in the future, which makes sure that there would be complete absence of human presence at the site of operations, which would also mean that brings in a lot of gender parity in the Vizhinjam International Seaport as well. When we generally think of ports as such and operations of the ports as such, there is always a gender disparity that would come to our minds. But we at Vizhinjam are trying to ensure that people of all genders can work in safe environments in the port sector, thus also changing the face of port sector in the country. Our focus areas for development and open to discussion here today, one would definitely be how to develop the transshipment hub. As we all know, transshipment is the process by which a container would be picked up from a shipping line, which would be parked in our yard, and then it goes into another feeder vessel off to another country. And if we actually plot the regions from where the ships have come in the last few months, we would actually see lights glowing up across the map. So we've had ships from China going to Africa through Vizhinjam, and across the global map, the world map, if we actually plot them. And this process of transshipment, the common question that comes to me is always that, how would it benefit the local public when you're doing transshipment? So this is a common question that would come. So as I mentioned, one, the revenue gain, or rather making up for the revenue loss for the entire country, is one of the major inputs or contributions of transshipment, both in terms of cargo charges, handling charges, and in terms of taxes. Plus, the opportunities that it opens for adding further to the transshipment hub is immense. Just to give one example, a consolidation hub at the transshipment, wherein a value addition can be done for the material that is brought in, wherein the cargo can be destuffed, various cargo from various countries can actually be accumulated, consolidated, labeled, repacked, and then probably stuffed into another container and taken to another country. So that is, that is probably the low-hanging fruit, as we call it, which we can have within our transshipment hub. But industries that would open outside would definitely be of major importance, of which the first would be port-related industries like logistics, as you can see, logistics and cargo handling, but also other eco-friendly industries which are relevant to the port and relevant to the district and relevant to the state of Kerala, including tourism development is something we have on the map. In our phase 2 development, we are also looking at developing a multi-purpose terminal on our breakwater, wherein we would have cruise ships coming in to Kerala, and probably the next time we meet, we would also have certain add-on features to the port. And this is one of the pictures of the ship that I spoke about. We had the largest ship that ever docked in India, which was MSC Claude Giardet. And some of the other achievements of Vizhl, the largest ship, we had a record container transfer, over 10,000 containers which were transferred from a single vessel, which was MSC Anna. And as I mentioned, the state-of-the-art automated trains and certain operational milestones which we've had in the last few months, amounting to more than 10% of the cargo in South Asia, which we are handling at the moment. So we have positioned ourselves as the hub for ultra-large vessels, India's dedicated deep water container terminal and transshipment hub. I don't think I need to spend more time on this because we've already gone through it. And these are some of the pictures and videos for your benefit. So Vizhinjam, let me conclude with saying that all of you present here are welcome to have a look at our Vizhinjam Port, both virtually and in real, because being at the port is a great experience for each one of us. Having the dreams of lakhs of people out here, of holding the key to the future of India's maritime sector, when the opportunities in maritime sector is at best across the globe than ever before in the history of maritime trade. With that, let me conclude and welcome each one of you to this Vizhinjam Conclave, and we are hoping that all of you would immensely benefit and contribute towards the Vizhinjam Conclave and ensure that we make the best out of the opportunities that has been given to us. Thank you so much for your patience.